So you did an article on BuzzFeed a while back, and you said that white comics don't have to worry about image
As much.
as much.
Yeah. I'm talking about appearance-wise.
What does that mean?
Man, like the blog sites, they will eat you up if you're not dressed a certain way as black comics. You know what I mean? And I really think when you go to a theater show, especially for black people get dressed up. It doesn't mean you have to be in a suit, but they're going to bring out their Gucci polo or their Gucci belt. And they're going to bring out the new shoes, and they're going to go get a haircut. And, you know, if you look at HBO, so you see a Louis C.K. special, there are people there in flip-flops and Tommy Bahama shirts, wrinkled.
You
know what I mean?
Crawled out of bed.
Yeah, they don't care. Well, black shows, and I agree with it. If they're gonna spend their money, if they're gonna spend $50, $75 to see you, you gotta look decent. You know, they don't want to see you going up there with some wore-out Converse All-Stars and some wrinkled jeans and a wrinkled T-shirt. I'm like, why do we spend our money to see you? You know what I mean? That's why I say, like, white comics don't have to worry about that when you're doing shows like that. Black comics. And I guess I'm a black comic. We gotta worry about that stuff.
So you have to dress up.
You don't have to dress up. You just gotta look crisp. You know what I mean? Because I'm a jean polo type of dude. I'm not really a suit guy. I don't like wearing suits that much. You know, I like to be free on stage. I think the jacket confines me somewhat.
Right, because we had Ari Spears here a couple of weeks ago, and he had like a wrinkled red T-shirt on. And when you look through the comments, people are like just murdering him over this T-shirt.
Right.
Where if your T-shirt was wrinkled, I'm thinking people probably wouldn't care as much.
I made sure it wasn't wrinkled. You know what I mean? And it's black. You can't go wrong with a black T-shirt with Jimi Hendrix on it.
You can't.
You know?
You can't. Interesting. So you primarily, building up your career, you primarily cater to a black audience. Mm-hmm. Is that in the beginning it just was what it was, but after a while did it become kind of a conscious thing?
It is. I mean, I'm married to a black lady now. We got mixed kids. I'm talking about my life. So, but I will say this, there was a point where I was going too far left, where if I went to Des Moines or I went to Omaha and there's a lot of white people in the audience, like I felt like, oh man, I'm kind of offending them. I never want to be that white comic that I use white people are slow, white people can't dance as a crutch. I try to do my stand-up in a way that everybody gets it. Like even if you're not around black people, hopefully when I tell my joke, you can still laugh about it. Like when I do the black and white church bit. Even if you've never been to a black church, hopefully I've delivered it in a way that you're like, okay, that's funny. Even if I've never experienced that experience. And that's my job. And there was a point in my career where I was going too far left.
So give me an example of going too far left.
Like I would get on stage and there would be the white people would just be like, what are you talking about? We don't get it. You know what I mean? Or they'd just be looking at me. You know what I mean? Like I just hosted the Polestar Awards in San Francisco a couple weeks ago. And there was no black people there. You know what I mean? And they still ate me up. Like they liked me. You know what I mean? But that comes with experience and seasoning. But there was a time where it was just all my jokes was just it was black white jokes, and then it was getting to the point where I was like, I feel like I'm putting down white people. You know what I mean? And I'm white. I was like, that can't be the way. You know what I mean? Especially in Hollywood, I can't have some studio execs or network execs come see me and be like, really? That's what we're seeing? You know what I mean? So that's what I mean. But I don't know the exact jokes, but there was a point where I was like, oh, I got to switch this up a little bit.
Have you had a situation, where people have gotten pissed off at your shows, like in the audience, confronted you, that type of thing?
Oh, there's been a few. Never been black people. As crazy as that is.
It's always been white people.
It's always been white people. Not a lot, but in the white people, and I've realized, I go, you're the one that's the racist. You're the one that don't get it. You know what I mean? Because you're not around black people, and so you're thinking, oh, white guys talking about black people, it's got to be bad. You're not listening to the entire joke. There was an incident in Marco Island, Florida. I was doing a comedy club about 3 years ago, and there was a group of white people, about 50 of them. And keep in mind, a comedy club only held 250 people, so they're dang near a quarter of the room, and they're just loud. Come to find out, it's a Sunday night show. The guy and the bride got married the night before. So the whole wedding party's still there. They're all headed to Jamaica on Monday, but they stayed in Marco Island on Sunday. Mm-hmm. And they're not paying any attention. They didn't pay attention to my opener, to me, and they're being loud, interrupting the show. So I start going off on them, right? And their response was, well, if you was funny, then we wouldn't be talking, right? So then I just went in. That pissed me off, right? So then they don't realize I have a huge black following, right? So the one way they get stuff, she goes, well, if you was funny, we still wouldn't be talking, right? And when I say this black lady stuff, and goes, sit your ass down, bitch. The white lady went, and then all black people start going off on them, and I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna have a riot on my hands. And then they all left. The white people left, and they tried to call the cops on me. And I said,
what?
you can't call the cops for talking. You know what I mean? They literally tried to call the cops.
So the cops show up?
Cop showed up. He was laughing. But when they was on the way out, I told him, I said, let me tell you, I told him what's about to happen. Let me tell you what's about to happen. You're all about to get kicked out. You're not getting your money back because I'm on a door deal. So I appreciate you giving me half your money. I said, you are going to pay your bill. I said, you are going to be upset. You're going to leave here. You're going to curse. Probably talk about me on social media. I said, but this is what it is. You're leaving right now and you're not getting your money back. I said, and hopefully you tip the waitress because she had nothing to do with this. You were mad at me. They were hot. And they got kicked out, all 50 of them. They was pissed.
I mean, there's another major white comic that kind of got to start with black audiences, and that's Jim Carrey.
Oh, then Living Color.
Living Color. Ever see any comparisons between the two of you guys?
It's funny, like when I first started doing stand-up and I got on TV a little bit, a lot of people are like, oh, you're the next Jim Carrey. And then Will Ferrell comes along, like, and then they'll come up and be like, you're like the next Will Ferrell. I said, well, no, Will Ferrell is now the next Jim Carrey. I'm not. You know what I mean? If you look at it that way. So I get it, and he was my favorite character on Living Color.
Oh, was he?
Jim Carrey. Oh.
But he became the most successful. Well, he became, no, well. I mean,
He's the most successful in front of the camera, but Jamie Foxx too. You know
Jamie Foxx has because I was about to say that, and I'm like, wait,
Oscar.
Jamie Foxx got an Oscar. Jim Carrey has never had an Oscar.
Right, and I don't think Jamie really, his goal was never to get the Oscar. It was just, he just did Ray. That was like an independent film from what I hear.
Was it?
Yeah, it was like they had one financier and he went after it and all the studios passed and whatever the studio was picked it up for the story I heard.
He killed that role. But
I don't think when Jamie took Ray, I don't think it was, oh, I'm going to get an Oscar off this. I just think, oh, this is a good role. I'm going to take it. Where Jim, I think when he did Man on the Moon, I think the goal was an Oscar.
Did he win an Oscar?
No.
No.
For Andy Kaufman?
He was, I mean, he was good in it, but I don't think he was as good as Jamie Foxx and Ray.
Oh. No, Jamie Foxx was Ray.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That was great.
Yeah. And I mean, to be fair, I mean, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but Jim Carrey had more, I think, big movies with him playing a starring role than Jamie Foxx.
Well, Jim hit it so hard there for about 5 years.
Like Ace
I mean, with
Ventura,
Mask. Once Ace Ventura. And I was funny because I was working with Jamie on Held Up. That was actually the first movie I did, and Jamie got me the part. He got me the audition. And he was telling me about Jim Carrey, and he goes, man, when everybody passed on Ace Ventura and it finally got to Jim, Jamie goes, I just went up to him and shook his hand. And Jim was like, what are you doing? He goes, I got to shake it now because you're not going to acknowledge me when this comes out. Like Jamie said, I knew that was the role for him. Like he was going to kill it. And Jamie said, like 2 years later, Jamie said, I was coming out of somewhere on Hollywood Boulevard and there's like a parade and Jim's on a float like from one of his movies coming into the premiere and Jamie's just looking up like, what the?
Yeah, I mean, Dumb and Dumber, like he had a lot of franchise.
Yeah.
Like that, because Jim Carrey had franchises.
Yeah, late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah, I mean, that is the most successful person to come out of Living Color, you know?
For a while, I mean, it seemed like it's all fluctuates. You could say J-Lo, female-wise, even though she was a fly girl.
Yeah, she was a fly girl.
You know what I mean?
She was a dancer. She wasn't an actual character.
Yeah. But Keenan, like behind the scenes, is still killing. I mean, he's still making.
Yeah, I mean, Damon Wayans had a great run.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it was one of those real launching pad type shows.
Yeah, that was my favorite show. You know what I mean? When that came out, everything shut down. I gotta watch it in color.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I definitely was watching it as well.
This is really my first time really talking with me, and basically told me like, you know, he didn't appreciate the letter that I dropped, and it made him seem like he was a liar or whatnot, and they fucking stole off on me in the Nike store.
That's so not accurate. Like, that's beyond not accurate.
It's so accurate.
It's not.
It's completely
like,
true.
Nas,
all you Nas fans could sit there and hate me and talk a bunch of shit, which they did when I went on Twitter.